before getting into today's video, I have a tiny little disclaimer for you guys. I know a lot of you guys hate disclaimers, but I have to put this in there for those that need it. You know what I'm saying? First thing is the lighting is going to be off. We're working with winter lighting here. It's going in and out. So sorry. I work with natural lighting, not fancy YouTube lights. Trying to save some money, okay? And the last thing is, please take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm not judging anybody that owns these items. I'm not judging, period. I know a lot of you guys feel like I'm attacking you when I make these kind of videos, and I'm not, okay? I'm just giving some helpful tips, all right? Just a little friendly reminder, no one is attacking you, okay? So let's just get into the video. Popular kitchen gadgets. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I am a fan of some kitchen gadgets. I own a blender because I make a lot of sauces with it, smoothies. For me, it's very useful, I should say. I also own a waffle maker. I love making waffles with just bananas, water and oats and cinnamon. I say all that to say this. I am a huge fan of certain kitchen gadgets out there on the market if I need them. Now here's the part where a lot of people go out of control with kitchen gadgets. There is a lot out there. I noticed when I went to Best Buy the other day to pick up an extra SD card for my camera, I noticed in the kitchen section it was filled with kitchen essential items, or essentials I should say, because they're questionable. There was a popcorn machine. There was this like robot cooker. I hope maybe I can find pictures to put them here, but there was this robot cooker where you can put your food in, and by the time you get home from work, everything is nice and cooked. So it's like a modernized, you know, transformer kind of crock pot. But like I was saying, I noticed a ton of unnecessary kitchen gadgets. Most of those you don't really need if you're getting your first apartment. Now, if you are a person that is extremely busy, you might need that robot transformer cooker. Although I do think it might be cheaper to get a personal chef, because that thing is very pricey, but to each his own. So when it comes to the kitchen and trying to keep it basic when you move out for the first time, or you just want to start fresh, keep the basic kitchen gadgets. A blender is always good to have on hand if you make smoothies, but if you are not into smoothies or mixing anything that you need a blender for, then don't buy one. You can definitely deal without a blender if you don't need it. If you don't whisk things, you don't need a whisk then. And don't go too expensive because I remember when I first moved out, I purchased a lot of expensive items, like a lemon juice squeezer. I paid like $30 for it, and I never used it. I ended up giving it away because I thought I was gonna make fresh lemonade when I had my first apartment, and I never made fresh lemonade. I purchased a lot of unnecessary kitchen essentials when I first moved out, and I was learning. I didn't have a guide to go by, so when I went shopping, I kind of got intrigued with everything that I seen. What I should have done was just write down the basics: forks, knives. So yeah, just keep it basic with essentials. I don't want to make this too long. Just write a list down of what you really need, and then you can add in things here and there. You can tweak it down the road. Say you stop making smoothies, or you stop making waffles. Making your own waffles is a lot cheaper than purchasing pre-made ones. I should know because I was buying the pre-made vegan waffles, and now I save myself a ton of money on groceries by not buying pre-made waffles and just making my own. But like I said, make yourself a list before going shopping for your kitchen with the main essentials. Do not feel like you need the newest and greatest things that are out there, because at the end of the day, you probably won't use half of the things that you purchased. Fancy fridges. So like I said, I usually go to Best Buy here and there for my, external hard drives, things like that for work. And I'm there quite frequently. And when I go, I notice a lot of things that I never noticed before, such as the fancy fridge situation. I looked long and hard to see if they had a basic fridge. And we have a fridge, but obviously we're keeping in mind when we do get a house, we might have to purchase those things. Because a lot of houses in this area don't come with fridges. Like, you have to purchase your own appliances. Anyways, we were just looking at fridges, seeing price-wise, like what are we looking at? And it took us forever to find a basic fridge, because every fridge at Best Buy had like a TV in it, or it was powered by Alexa or powered by Google, and I'm like, why? And these fridges weren't cheap. They're like 3, 4, 5 grand. So basic fridges do the job just fine. I have always had a basic fridge while growing up. We've always had the freezer on top, the fridge on the bottom. We have a basic fridge here. We had a basic fridge at our other apartment, my other apartment. You guys can go look at my old videos and see. And it worked perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with it. It didn't have any fancy gadgets on it. It was just a fridge. It kept my food nice and cool or frozen, nice and fresh, and that was it. I didn't need a fancy TV screen on my fridge. I didn't need any of that stuff. All I needed was the fridge to keep my food nice and fresh. So when you are redoing your kitchen, or if you're buying a fridge, keep in mind that basic fridges are okay to have. They still do the job. I mean, they've been doing the job this long, so many years. You don't necessarily need a TV or a touch screen on your fridge. I could see like maybe upgrading the size of your fridge, but you don't need to get those other fancy fridges with, you know, where they order for you and stuff. It's just another fancy gadget that you don't really need. And I can just imagine how much money it will be if the screen breaks or if something goes on those fancy fridges. Kitchen rugs. I worked in a kitchen for 8 years. The only rugs that we had in the kitchen were non-slip silicone ones, and those were usually around the dishwasher area, so the dishwasher doesn't, you know, fall and break their neck. Now, I see a lot of kitchen rugs where it's like a chef or like, you know, like those themes. And the problem with those rugs is that they slide a lot. You have to put something underneath them, and they collect so much germs and so much food. Even if you do find the ones that get washed, I just feel like there's no purpose for it. You can just have your regular tiles. It's so much easier to just steam the tiles or mop the tiles, vacuum, call it a day. That's it. There's no extra step to throw that rug in the wash. I know a lot of people like decor and like to spice up their kitchen. I get it. But there's other ways to do that rather than adding a hazard on the floor. Kitchen themes. We have talked about themes in the past where growing up we had a lot of kitchen themes as well. We had a sunflower theme, cow theme, the chef man theme. So many, like I can't even name all the other ones because we'd be here for hours. And usually these themes fade out pretty fast because you have an overload of it. And what happens when you have an overload of things, or of overload of the same thing, I should say? You get sick of it, like this. I am guilty of it. When I lived with my mom, I had a nice little tiny bedroom and I had the damask theme. Now when I see that print, I hate it. My whole entire bedroom was filled with that damask theme, and now I just look at it as like an instant headache. So it's okay to have a theme in the kitchen, just don't overdo it. You don't need to have a chef man in every inch of the kitchen. You can add a little plant in the corner, like maybe basil, like some kind of herb that you can get use out of, so it's not just sitting there. I feel like decor in the kitchen, I'm over that phase as well. Decor themes, they're all the same to me. And what I have in the kitchen is like on the countertop is what we use, whether it's a fruit bowl, the hand sanitizer on the side, and that's basically it. And then like a utensil, like a bowl, not a bowl, like a little utensil holder of the things that I cook with. That's it. At my first apartment, I did experiment with plants and things like that, and I just wanted a kitchen where everything was nice and clear and I can just cook and then clean up and get out of there. So when you are trying to think of a theme or to add decor in your kitchen, think of how much these items, or if these items are going to get in your way of cooking your daily meals. If they're going to get in your way and you have to move them over, move the chef man to the side every time, maybe you should move him back to the store instead of keeping him in your kitchen. It's better to have a clear countertop and a clear space to cook and be a little bit more creative rather than keep moving everything. It's like more work for you when it comes to cleaning. Overload of coffee mugs, wine glasses, shot glasses, etc. And I also have seen this at my old job. They would have cabinets. It was like this lounge area for the elderly, and they would have like 10, 12 cabinets of mugs. So of course I just let it go. You know, that wasn't my place to say anything, but I just always thought, like, what is the point of having an overload of mugs, coffee cups, any cups in general? If you have a family of 8, then have enough cups and mugs for a family of 8. Don't have enough for a family of 20 or 30. There's no need for it. When it comes to decluttering the kitchen, the mugs, the glasses, the shot glasses, those are the first things that people declutter and get rid of because there's just too many of them. And then they always realize that at the end. So instead of realizing it at the end, let's realize it before we buy these things so we're not wasting money and wasting space in our kitchen. Food you don't like. This is a huge unnecessary item to have in your fridge, your freezer, your cabinet. There's some times where I went on this like health kick and I purchased like nutritional yeast and I purchased all of these like fancy ingredients that were gonna add a little bit more nutrition to my food. And really, I hate nutritional yeast. I never ever ended up using it. I used it like twice and I found it disgusting. I don't know what it is with me, but the taste is so bland. It's just, to me, I don't like it. I ended up purchasing like a big thing of it and it just stood in my cabinet for that, oh, maybe I'll use it one day situation. Never used it, it ended up expiring and I had to throw it out. So instead of me wasting my money again when I go on those little health kicks, I should purchase things that I will eat and that I do like instead of me just experimenting all the time on things that I know that I'm not gonna eat, but I'm gonna try to make myself eat it. And when you try to make yourself eat something you don't like, it usually gets tucked away, way back in the freezer, forgotten for months, maybe a year, and by the time you take it out, it's like, oh, I don't even like this. What is it doing in there? And then you throw it in the trash. I understand we all purchase healthy food, but we also all have our own taste buds. There's a lot of people that don't like kale, but they'll purchase kale and then they'll leave it in the fridge and it goes bad. So instead of doing that, find an alternative to kale that you might like, that you won't end up throwing away in the next 3 to 4 days when it goes bad. Food waste is a really big problem in the United States, so it's best to purchase food that you are gonna eat rather than food that you're gonna waste. We do not need any more food waste in the US. Anyways, you guys, I really hoped you enjoyed this kitchen edition of what you don't really need. Let me know down below what you would like to see for the next episode of this series. I have quite a few more episodes left, like the garage, cars, the yard, but I can always use a couple more ideas, so throw your ideas down below and maybe I will feature that in a next video. So on that note, I will catch you guys later.